Everyone, thanks for joining us. Tonight is the August 26, 2021 Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before my comments, we have a presentation the Sons of Italy are here for. Would you come up?
Oh, it's for you.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great, thanks.
Good. So let's say good evening to the town board, residents of the town of East Fishkill, and my brothers and sisters from the Joe DiMaggio Lodge. Got a couple that are stuck out here. You know, for more than 30 years, the town has allowed us to use the recreation facilities to hold our annual festival over Memorial Weekend. And we feel it is important to let you know what we're about and what we do with our profits. Now, usually if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with somebody and they say to me, hey, you're involved with the Sons of Italy, what do you guys do? I usually just start out by saying, well, we raise money to throw it back into the community, which is basically what we do. I could go into specifics, but we'd be here all night, so. What we do is we give out scholarships here at, in the Wappinger School District to graduating students from John Jay, Ketchum, and we also give to Arlington. And as far as on the local level, charities we give to East Fishkill Historical Society, Safe Haven Animal Shelter, St. Columba, the Anderson Center for Autism, Food Bank of the Hudson Valley, Miles of Hope, Julie's Jungle, St. Vincent de Paul, and Sparrow's Nest. On the state and national levels, we give to the Smile Train, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, Shriners Hospital, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Alzheimer's, Gift of Sight, Multiple Sclerosis Association, and one charity that is near and dear to our organization, and that's Cooley's Anemia. There's also various police and veteran organizations as well. And let's not forget the firework display we do on a closing night.
Yeah, beautiful.
So we would like to say thanks for allowing us to use Monday this year, because the rain that we had on Friday and Sunday would have given us a complete washout, and yes, that is a pun intended. So I'd like to ask if you would accept this check in the amount of $2,000 as a token of our appreciation, and we hope for a continued relationship between us and the town of East Fishkill.
Thank you so much.
I'd just like to say one other thing. If there's anybody that's interested to know more about our organization, what we do, who we are, and so on and so forth, we have a website. It's joedimagiolodge.org, and you can go there and just request information. The email will come directly to me. I'll contact you, and if you want to sit down and hear about us or maybe interested in joining. By the way, you do not have to be Italian, and I know we have a couple of Italians in this room. But you don't have to be Italian to join. But if you like the heritage and you like the culture, consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the Sons of Italy. Wonderful organization, does so much for our community. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all your help. So before we begin, I have a few announcements, and usually my announcements are very long. I try to abbreviate them tonight since we do have a few presentations. So hope everyone's well, healthy, and your families are healthy as well. I started out this month with
calls with the county executive. We are starting to have them every week now. As most people have seen, we have had a little uptick with COVID cases last month in Dutchess County. This month so far, those positive cases are decreasing. On the 19th, Dutchess County had 818 active cases, and this week they're down to 707. I didn't look today, but that was of yesterday. But everybody just please keep in mind, 86% of all those cases are people who have underlying conditions, and 81% of those cases are people who have not been vaccinated. So I just want to give those statistics out. Dutchess County is following CDC guidelines as well as East Fishkill, and we have always followed New York State and Dutchess County's guidelines. The county executive did want us to stress, all the mayors and supervisors in the county, that if you or one of your members of your family have COVID or exposed to COVID, you are going to get a call from the Department of Health. Please answer the phone. Very important. A lot of times people don't answer the phone. They don't get correct, accurate numbers, so it's extremely important for them to get accurate data. So please answer the phone when the Department of Health calls. And thank you to County Executive and the staff for all his help this past 19 months. I can't believe it's 19 months of this, but this month I did miss our Dutchess County Mayors and Supervisors meeting. I was away with my family for a few days. Every month we have a meeting with Dutchess County Mayors and Supervisors. I did, though, have a meeting with Supervisor Thurston from Wappinger and Supervisor Albert from town of Fishkill, also Supervisor Schmidt from the town of Pauling. It's very good to have regular meetings with the surrounding supervisors. We do help each other a lot, and it helps out when we need something. We borrow lots from each other, so thank you to the supervisors. I also had a meeting up at Locust Grove this month in Poughkeepsie for the Dutchess County Transportation Safety Council. This is a bi-yearly meeting we have. It's a voting meeting. East Fishkill is a permanent voting member of that committee. We are one of the largest towns in Dutchess County, and we take active participation with that group. And it's very important. We do attend those. It's hard to make, but I try to make all of them. We do have a monthly meeting as well. It's been online lately, but we do have 2 meetings that we vote on in person per year. The town has had a very good working relationship with our East Fishkill Fire District. I always like to thank all our fire volunteers and personnel. Wonderful group, all the firehouses, fire companies, and our fire district, our fire commissioners. I do meet with them quarterly, and I do try to have meetings with the fire chief, Frank LaCalamita. He is our fire chief. I did have a meeting this past month with him just to check in, see what's going on, see what kind of assistance the town could provide. They also have a very, very good, close working relationship with our police department, and thank you to the chief for that. Tonight, we do have some resolutions for hiring different positions. Unfortunately, lately, it's been happening a lot. I've been having a lot of meetings with our HR director, our comptroller, about hiring for new positions. And all of these positions, I think except one, are replacement positions. We had a lot of people retire. We had a lot of people take different jobs. It's a very competitive market out there, so it's difficult to find people to work. The private sector is having this trouble immensely. So now it's trickling down to the public sector, and it's hard to find good people to keep in these positions. So I like to thank our staff, my comptroller, my HR director, for all their hard work. It's been kind of stressful trying to juggle all these different positions. This month, I also had a meeting with the Wappinger Central School District Superintendent, Dr. Dwight Bonk. I met with him one-on-one, and also we had a meeting with several supervisors, all the supervisors that make up the town, the towns that make up the Wappinger Central School District. Usually, we have these meetings quarterly. We review several things, transportation, how they're districting sometimes children, a whole slew of events. Of course, one of the main topics topics this time was COVID, and how the school superintendent was adamant about getting all the children back to school, even if they have to wear the mask. I know that's sometimes not favorable for some, but it is important to get all the children in school, and that was one of his goals, and he's doing it. So my hat's off to the school superintendent. It's a very difficult time to be a school superintendent. It's a lot of emotions taking place with people and their children with COVID. So thank you to him for all his hard work. Also, we had an intern program here this year. Actually, Wappingers did, the town of Fishkill and East Fishkill, with children, students from the Wappinger Central School District. We had several interns in many different departments, and it worked out extremely, extremely well. They did a terrific job, and I'd like to thank all of them. We had a little thank you breakfast for them on their last day, and they did a wonderful, wonderful job, and we're going to continue this program every year. All the departments' heads raved about them as well. Hillside Lake, we've completed the stormwater project, as everybody knows. I've been discussing with several board members on doing a ribbon cutting there soon. I've been discussing with Councilman Marinaro. He came up actually with the idea to advertise it on the marquee there so we could get some more residents to come out and see what the town has done. We're pretty proud of it. It's working well. We did actually treatment for the lake this year, which I believe it looks pretty good, correct? I haven't been out there in a little bit.
Very good.
They say it's clearing up the lily pads and whatnot, so we'll be announcing when that will be. I attended a contact breakfast this month for the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce. It's always very interesting to go to them, mostly filled with business owners made in the county. A few public officials attend as well. I like to attend. I like to keep a good rapport with our business community, not only here in East Fishkill, but also in the county. You never know when we can try to lure some of them to come to our town, but it's a very good organization. The chamber does an excellent event, correct, Councilman?
They do.
I've reached out to our own East Fishkill Business and Economic Development Committee. It's been a while, since probably pre-COVID, that we had a meeting. This was a committee that the town board set several years ago. It's been a very successful committee, made up of several business owners, other public officials as well. Councilman Marinaro sits on that committee, and we try to create different ideas and solutions for our local businesses. Try to see what they're having problems with. How can the town help? It's very difficult. The town doesn't have a big apparatus to help small local businesses, but we try to give them as much information as we can. We share with them and try to help them whatever issues are coming up. And in the future, whatever issues are coming up, perhaps it's traffic issues and other problems like that. So thank you to Economic Development Director and that committee. I will report on this next month on how that meeting goes. Speaking about economic development, iPark, as everybody heard, is very busy. We received several applications lately, one for a filming studio. They are be building 3 backlot studios and 1 indoor filming facility on iPark property. It's a pretty big deal. It's a affiliate of Liongate Films that will be looking to build there, so it's very exciting. Lots going on there. They also had 3 other applications for warehouses, 150,000 square foot warehouses on site as well. That's all new construction. Also this week, we have a resolution tonight to look to be lead agency for an application. Frito-Lay, a subsidiary of Pepsi, has made application with the town to build a new 150,000 square foot fulfillment center. Also very, very exciting. As everybody knows, PepsiCo is Fortune 25 company, and they are a very, very great community partner. So the town is very happy to see them come here to do business. And hats off to the town board. We've been working very hard to lure these type of businesses to come here. We changed zoning, we changed uses on the east and west campuses. Everybody knows Amazon is almost complete. Now iPark is expanding, PepsiCo's coming here. So it's good to see all our hard work come to fruition. And I'd like to thank our former supervisor, John Hickman, for his leadership as well, because he took a big role in that as well. So thank you, Supervisor Hickman. I've been discussing with our rec department, our 25th anniversary for our Community Day is coming up. That's Saturday, September 18th. This year, it's the biggest one, I guess. Councilman Cassidy was one of the starters, creators of Community Day, and everything will be very grand. So please make sure you attend the 25th anniversary. I'm sure you'll have more comments later on from the board members about that. Also, we are looking to advertise. We're going to have a 9/11 ceremony. It is the 20th anniversary, so we will be advertising soon as we have the details for that. And lastly, last week we had to have a special town board meeting. Recently, we had one of our court clerks retire, and another court clerk that we hired several months ago left us for another court clerk position. So that was kind of a bad situation. So I asked the town board to advertise. We advertised for a special meeting. And thank you to our clerk. Our clerk advertised in the newspaper that we had a special town board meeting. We interviewed several court clerk candidates, and we decided to hire. And we can't close the court. We had to act fast, and we had to hire. So that was the reason for the special town board meeting. We don't have them a lot. We've only, since I'm supervisor, maybe only had one or two, but it does happen from time to time. But as everybody knows, I like to be as transparent as possible. My administration does, and I like to tell you what's going on. And like I always say, if you have any questions, any comments, please call my office, 221-4303. Call any town board member. We're here to help you. We work for you, and we're glad to answer the call. So thank you very much. With that, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Cassidy?
Present.
Councilman Marinaro?
Present.
Councilman Franco?
Present.
Councilman Beepin?
Present.
Supervisor D'Alessandro?
Present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, if the board doesn't mind, I'm going to change the order tonight. I want to do a few resolutions before the public hearing. So I guess at this point, I'm going to say to do resolution number 1, number 3, number 4,
And
20, and number 20, yes. And also number 2 after those police ones, because it is for a presentation. Okay, so why don't we start with I'm sorry, so at this point, anybody in the audience wish to speak on resolutions 1, 2, 3, 4, or 20? Please come to the podium and make your comments if you would like. Okay, no, with that, resolution 1, Councilman Franco?
I move we appoint Christopher Bellino.
I didn't get a chance, that all went by very quickly. Is Resolution 2 Project Niagara?
Yes.
Is that Frito-Lay?
Yes. Please come to the podium, sir.
Thank you. So I just had some questions about that. Is this my one opportunity to ask them tonight?
No, you can ask it afterwards as well.
There's going to be a presentation.
There'll be a presentation, then I'll open the floor again.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, with that, Resolution 1, Councilman Franco?
I move we appoint Christopher Bellino, Police Chief, from the Civil Service list and authorize employment agreement.
Okay, do I have a second? Do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. As everybody knows, our police chief has successfully completed and passed the civil service exam, and we're happy about that. And we want to appoint him as our permanent police chief. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations. And we have our judge here, if he would do the swear-in, and then we will present you with your badge, chief.
Yes, sir.
Judge, you want to come around to the front?
Supervisor D'Alessandro. Who's going to hold the Bible? Dr. Neshwa? Sure. My good side?
Or face there, maybe it's reverse. Go on the other side, Judge.
Your other good
There
side.
you go.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand to God, and repeat after me. I, Christopher Bellino, solemnly swear that I will uphold the laws and Constitution of the State of New York, and the laws and Constitution of the United States of America, and I will faithfully discharge my duties as East Fishkill Chief of Police to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations.
Chief will present you your badge, take a picture with the board. See, Chief, everybody here doesn't want to get a ticket. That's why they're all Congratulations, Chief. Thank you. Okay, that was nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Number 3, Councilman Franco.
I move that we appoint Brett Valencia and Stephen Snyder as probationary police officers to fill vacancies.
Do I have a motion to appoint the 2 new officers?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? So we will be having 2 officers retiring by the end of the year. We have received notice from them, and we thought it was appropriate timing for us to look for 2 candidates, send them to, for training, and by the time the officers are ready to retire, these 2 officers will be ready to hit the streets. So this is perfect timing, and we have 2 very eligible candidates. The town board has interviewed both of them. Chief, anything you'd like to say?
We're picking up 2 great individuals who fit in very nicely to our family.
Excellent. Any other discussion? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations. Chief will present the badges.
Tradition is customary to issue your shield at the time of hire, so first I'd like to ask Stephen to come on up. His mom. Okay, Finch, come on up. Come get Finch right here. Let's go right here in a minute. You got carte blanche there, Mom.
Hang on, Chief.
Come up, Brad. Mom, get close. I'm sure you're gonna be able to get him. Close.
Congratulations. I'm sure you'll make the town proud. Thank you both. Okay, Resolution 4, Councilman Franco.
I move we authorize the hiring of Omar Vega as a full-time police assistant to fill a vacancy.
Do I have a motion to hire Omar Vega as a police assistant?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? So we had a full-time police dispatcher, police assistants, we call them, leave us, or retire, retire. Mr. Quint, he's with the town for
20 years.
20 years. Thank you, Mr. Quint, for your service. So we're looking to fill the position. Mr. Vega has been with us for some time now, doing an excellent job. So with that, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations. Yeah, I know, but I don't have that. Can I see this one second, please? Thank you. I have that one here. Well, number 20, we'll have to hold on. Clerk went to check on Resolution 20, so while we're at that, we have a presentation for Resolution number 2. How are you? Evening.
Good evening, Supervisor D'Alessandro, members of the Town Board. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your agenda tonight. My name is Jennifer Gray. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Keen & Bean, and I'm here tonight representing Rolling Frito-Lay Sales, LP, which is a subsidiary of PepsiCo. We're here in support of their application for the construction of a 150,000 square foot fulfillment center at the former IBM East campus, now known as iPark 84. I'm joined tonight by a number of people. I'll introduce the crowd that I have with me tonight. From Frito-Lay, we have Kathy Alfano, who's the Senior Director of Economic Development. We also have Devesh Patel, Senior Manager, Stephanie Hanger, Senior Engineer, and also Chuck Mueller, who is a consultant with Frito-Lay. We also have our consulting design team with us tonight from Burns & McDonnell. From Burns & McDonnell, we have Brian Comerford, Nicole Chamon, and Luis Monzon. So I'm going to give a brief treetop summary of the project that we're proposing, talk a little bit about the location of the project, and then I'm going to turn it over to Brian Comerford of Burns & McDonnell. We have a brief slideshow presentation that'll give you a little bit more of the details of the project for the benefit of the town board and your staff and consultants and the members of the public here tonight. First off, the applicant is very excited to join the East Fishkill community. Frito-Lay looks forward to bringing good jobs and tax revenue to the town by redeveloping and revitalizing this empty parking lot as it exists today. The location of the site is at the iPark campus. It's on the south side of Route 52. It's currently a large vacant parking lot. In 2017, you may recall Global Foundries came to the town and they got a subdivision approval for most of the campus there. What we're doing is we're going to take a portion of Lot 2 from that subdivision and a portion of Lot 3, merge them together, and create a 28.4 acre lot. Frito-Lay is currently the contract vendee for that property. We're aware that the town has taken some significant efforts over the past few years with changes in zoning to kind of pave the way for quality projects like this, like you mentioned in your opening remarks, Supervisor D'Alessandro. So we are excited to take advantage of some of those zoning endeavors that the town board has undertaken over the past couple years. So just by way of a brief summary, the project, as I mentioned, involves the construction of a 150,000 square foot fulfillment center. It also involves two other structures. One is a fleet center and a guardhouse. So I'll give a quick summary of each of those structures. The fulfillment center will utilize high-tech equipment to fulfill direct customer orders. It will have within it what's called an ASRS. It's an automated storage and retrieval system. So that's a tall piece of automated machinery. that's used to optimize the storage and retrieval of goods and products. It's most often used in high bay warehouses, and it does allow for an efficient use of space. So while most of the fulfillment center is designed to be about 50 feet in height, which is well below the 80 feet that's permitted in this area, the ASRS is a very tall piece of machinery. And because of that, a portion of the building will need to be raised to be 85 feet in height. So we noted in our submission to the town board last week for our economic redevelopment special permit that we are seeking to utilize the provisions of the portion of your town code to seek a waiver to go from the 80 feet to the 85 feet just for that portion, about 25% of the building for that machinery to be about 85 feet. The Fleet Center is going to provide service and maintenance for the vehicles that transport product to and from the facility, and then there'll be a small guardhouse on the property that'll serve as a manned checkpoint for vehicles coming and going from the site. So as I mentioned, we do need an economic redevelopment special permit. The town board is the approval authority for that. We also need site plan and subdivision approval from your planning board. Application has been submitted to the planning board at this time. For SECRA purposes, the project is type 1 pursuant to SECRA. A full EAF was submitted to your board along with an executive summary, and it's that big document that was submitted to you, many pages of reports and studies, a traffic study, a noise study, various other studies. Obviously, all of that will be vetted by your professional staff and your consultants. But we're confident that the studies will demonstrate that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact. So for tonight's purposes, after we hear from Burns and McDonnell, what we would ask the town board to do is to authorize circulation of notice of intent to declare lead agency for the project so that the town board can be the lead agency for environmental review, refer the application to the planning board, and we also ask that you schedule a joint public hearing with the planning board. That way both boards can review the application together. And with that, what I will do is I'll turn it over to Brian Comerford from Burns and McDonnell to run through our slides.
Thank you, Ms. Gray.
Just set this on the,
Sure.
you see it on the screen as well.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So today, I'll expeditiously move through the content to provide a little bit more detail than what Jennifer provided as we've progressed through the design aspects of this facility. I'll hit some overview, get into the existing site and what the proposed layout will look like. We'll talk zoning at a high level so that you understand compliance, and then get into the access, traffic, and circulation, parking through the facility as it exists. And then we'll close out with utilities and then the sound study and the results from that. So as Jennifer mentioned, the proposed project is 157,000 square foot fulfillment center. This facility, if we think about the core operation of it, where the warehousing and fulfillment of goods takes place, is roughly 140,000 square feet. There are other perimeter and adjacent buildings that make up the difference to 157,000 square feet. The height, as Jennifer mentioned, at the high bay is 85 foot 8 inches, which is 5 feet above the zoning limit today. It is important to note that that just represents 25% of the overall footprint of the building. So it is not the entire structure. It is just that 25% of that high bay area where the dense storage is occurring. Around the facility, we have 20 service docks for tractor trailer access. And then from a parking standpoint, there's 108 personnel auto parking spots, 100 tractor trailer parking spots, and then 13 tractor parking spots with the overall facility. So what you're seeing here on the screen is what the property looks like today. So the overall intent for this property is to reuse and leave as much of the existing property intact as you see it today. Obviously, there's a significant amount of paving as it's a parking lot. The core aspects of the project will take place within those paved areas that you see today. The grassed areas, the landscaped areas, by and large, remain intact. That was a strategic intent for us to preserve as much of the natural landscape and characteristic that you see there today, and only focus the activities within the parking lot. Next slide is the future. So as you see here, the fulfillment center sits in the middle of the parking lot. The pavement has been improved. What you can't see quite so well necessarily on this screen here is we have added some additional landscaping features in and around the area, particularly around the ring road, to service and access the facility, to provide some concealing landscape to the different buildings there. If you look at the different structures, on the right-hand corner, kind of out there by itself, which is the small building, is the fleet center. So that is an area for light maintenance on the equipment there on site. The core of it is the fulfillment center in the middle, and then there's an access guard shack that is manned there at the facility. Looking a little bit further from above as far as what the layout looks like. So again, the red border on this particular slide depicts the proposed boundary. As Jennifer mentioned, this is a subdivision of multiple existing properties that come together to form this 28.4 acre parcel, which is the intended development area. Within the 28.4 acres of this development, there are roughly 20 acres that are disturbed, again, concentrated on the existing parking lot. Okay. Zoning and compliance. So as we've progressed our way through design, we have paid particular attention to the various zoning requirements in place for the community here. There are two specific items I want to make note of here within the compliance. There is an existing non-conforming condition relative to the setback to Route 52. There is existing roadway that is within the setback requirements as outlined by the zoning regulations today, and we plan on maintaining that same condition, not worsening the condition, not improving the condition. Thus, it'll be an existing non-conforming condition that just remains. The other item is the one that Jennifer mentioned, the 5-foot variance in building height that is being requested as part of this. All other aspects of zoning and compliance, through our analysis, we believe we have satisfied the requirements within the zoning regulations as they stand today. Looking a little bit further about landscaping, since they didn't pop quite so well on the rendering, the light green areas are existing landscaped or pervious areas on the facility today. Those areas remain intact. So we do not touch those. We leave those as they are. They become a part of the long-term permanent feature of the facility. The darker green areas are new landscaped features that are added into the facility for concealing purposes and to further increase the pervious amount of space on the overall property. With this also, what you don't see on here is what we've done from a lighting perspective and standpoint. We do have a combination of wall-packed light fixtures that mount on the building, as well as pole-mounted fixtures throughout the parking lot and the drive spaces for safety. The fixtures that we've selected are dark sky friendly fixtures so that we do not have light contamination beyond the extents of the property. So those will be operated on photocell. They will be on during the evening hours. That's when most of the activity actually at this site occurs. So the lights will be on during the evening and overnight hours, and then turn off when the sun rises there. From an access standpoint, there are two entrances and means into this particular facilities. The intent with the different entrances is to separate personnel, auto vehicle, and truck traffic. Route 52, there is an existing gate into the complex, Gate 2, which is currently closed down today. The intent is to open that gate for primary use of personnel autos in and out. So individuals that are working in the facility on a daily basis, that is their primary means in and out of the facility. There's an unmanned gate operator for those employees and the visitors that come to the facility. Trailer tractor access will come through Gate 3. That is an existing access point where tractor trailers come into the facility today that serve the entire complex. That intersection is designed and can accommodate tractor trailers, and that will be the access point for the tractor trailers, keeping them off of Route 52, keep them on I-Park Boulevard, and direct access into I-84. The personnel autos could come still through that gate, but that is not their primary means of entrance. Gate 2 will be that location there. The other feature as far as access, the outer road is being maintained there for emergency access as well as access to the pump lift station that remains on the property. There will be a gated entrance in the southwest corner of the drawing or the image here, where that access can be granted for emergency responders, whatever the need may be there for these emergency purposes. Traffic. So a traffic study was conducted for this area, done by AKRF. They have done several traffic impact studies for the area and for I-Park as they have been developing within that area. We continue to work with them to evolve their traffic studies and integrate this particular project to the conditions that they have previously studied. The summary of the study includes the forecasted traffic for 2023 for the area with no project. We added and considered the local area vicinity projects that are coming up. We added this project to that study, and then I-Park has a series of projects that they are planning for their cumulative build-out. All of those conditions were evaluated to develop conclusions relative to the traffic. Ultimately, the conclusion, based upon the data and the study, is that there are no expected impacts from a traffic or safety standpoint, and that is primarily due to the low traffic in and out movement from the facility. This isn't a highly staffed facility in terms of creating significant traffic. The net in and out is 24 during the morning and 26 during the afternoon peak periods. So it is fairly light during those particular periods. Indexing to the next slide, you'll see a little bit about why. This facility is primarily operates during the nighttime period. It is a two-shift operation that runs essentially from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. So it operates through the night. That is when the workforce is at the facility. The peak personnel occurs at the overlap of 4 a.m. So that is the facility's peak traffic in and out is at that shift change at 4 a.m. The balance during the community peak hour is really the administrative staff coming in and out during that particular period. Parking, with this, we are, as I mentioned, we are establishing 108 personnel auto parking. That correlates against the 72 personnel at a max period. The parking is established based upon the user-defined standard as an economic redevelopment. So 108 is a very conservative number. It works with the site layout, and it is more than ample for the expected population there at the overall facility. With that, we have the trailer parking of 100 and then tractor parking of the 13, as I previously mentioned there. Looking at some of the utilities here, stormwater. The overall intent, our underlying theme with stormwater is use what we have. The discharge points for stormwater today, there are two of them, one on the east side of the facility and one on the west side of the facility. Those will continue to be the discharge points for all stormwater in the future. Our work will stem around repurposing the existing conveyance system for stormwater, adding catch basins in strategic locations to accommodate the new fulfillment center within that area. With our design here, as I mentioned, the impervious area is not increasing. In fact, it is decreasing. Thus, there is no additional retention required for any kind of stormwater. We've also studied any upstream impacts to make sure that we are not negatively impacting any upstream areas associated with stormwater. So as we have it designed today, the system will essentially function the way it does in today as a runoff through the parking lot into the conveyance system and out to the two existing discharge points. Other utilities, as we look at those, this is it's a fulfillment center. It is a light user of overall utilities, and it consumes the standard utilities. So electricity, natural gas, water, sanitary sewer, fire, water, all of those are required, not at great levels. We have begun the discussions with each of the providers for those services. At this point, we see no complications relative to the capacities versus the consumption that is planned for this particular facility. And last item is sound study. So we know that there's a sensitivity towards the impacts from a sound standpoint from a potential facility such as this. We've done an evaluation against the criteria that has been established by the town of East Fishkill, as well as the state of New York. Those two requirements are East Fishkill has the 70 dBA limit. That is the threshold. The DEC, their threshold is ambient, so current condition, plus 6 decibel gain due to the project. The sampling was done to establish a baseline, and a model was then created to understand project-related impacts associated from this with rooftop equipment, trucks, and so forth. And the results are negligible. There is very little sound impact to the area at the metering points that were all taken at either nearby residents or other properties off of the proposed property boundaries. Net result, no attenuation or any special sound mitigating equipment or features are required. We believe the landscaping that we will maintain as well as improve will further help some of the sound beyond what we show here in the study that was not factored into our sound study. So with that, that concludes what I have today. I will turn it back to Jennifer for any wrap up and then any questions that may come up.
Thanks, Brian. So we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if not, otherwise we would ask that you consider the resolution that you have slated on your agenda for tonight, but we're happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
So your presentation, this is a great asset for the community. One question will be, how many people your company will employ?
Sure. So
in total?
Yep, we anticipate approximately 80 permanent full-time positions once the operation is up and running. And we also anticipate about 80 construction jobs as well.
And this is the very preliminary part of the project. This is the very beginnings. They will have to come and give a full presentation to the planning board as well, work through all those aspects that the presenter showed, stormwater, traffic mitigation, noise, all that will be addressed by the planning board as well, just to remind the town board members.
Absolutely, yes. This is the first step of many along
that's
the way.
right.
So our
Absolutely.
optimum capacity will be between 80 and 100 jobs, you say?
Yeah, we're anticipating approximately 80 permanent jobs at this point. And like I said, along with the construction jobs as well. and good-paying jobs. Our estimates show that the jobs would be above the average salary for Dutchess County. So not only a fair number of jobs, but good-paying jobs as well.
How long do you think it's gonna take you to build it? What's your goal?
The goal, let's see, I did anticipate this question.
Because his traffic, I think his traffic study said 2022.
Sure, we begin,
About 2.5 to 3 years, so
Yeah.
our current start is 2023.
thank you, Devesh.
Do you build as quick as Amazon does?
They're pretty fast.
Lightning speed. It's going up very quickly.
Good.
Okay, before we vote on the resolution, there was a member of the audience wish to speak on this resolution. Would you could come to the podium, sir?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for that presentation. My name's Eric Eckley. I'm a resident of East Fishkill. And, I have quite a few questions. I'm wearing the mask because when I came through the door, there was a sign that said masks were required to enter this building, so I put one on, but then I came in and nobody else is wearing one. So I'm wondering why you have a sign on the door that says masks are required.
We have it posted on our website. If you are vaccinated, you don't need to wear the mask. But if you'd like to, of course you
Well,
can.
I just was trying to follow the rules, but it seems odd that there's a sign, but nobody's following the rules.
Well, if they're vaccinated, they don't have, that's
Okay.
the rule.
All right.
There you
So
go.
that's question number one. All right. Let's see. So what is the Project Niagara? What does that mean?
Would you like to answer? We don't name them. We don't name them, sir.
Sure.
That's just a name chosen for the project. It is Frito-Lay is the
Right.
name of the company that will be.
We don't pick the names.
So why don't you, but you know the name, so why don't you put the name
We
on?
sign a non-disclosure before they made full application.
Is that to help with transparency or to eliminate transparency?
No, it has nothing to do with that. So what happens is these national companies, Amazon, Global Foundries, et cetera, when they're ready to start a project, they have to go through many other processes, both with the stock exchange, the SEC, lenders, et cetera. So what they do is, obviously, before they decide to try to go forward in the community, they'll come in to have a discussion with the professional staff and leaders of the community. And at that point, it's confidential until such time as they finish their other due diligence with the other agencies that they have to deal with. And then as soon as that is filed, their application was just filed, it becomes public, and there has been nothing done prior to this other than generalized discussions about the concepts. The first time any of us saw any of these detailed documents was when they were filed on Friday or Monday, whatever it was.
But the town website lists the agenda for tonight, and if people are
It
interested.
says Project Niagara, that's correct.
Correct, which is not really what it is, because it's just
Well,
like,
it is.
it's a
That's
made-up
the-
name.
Oh, okay, well, I've just explained to you
Right,
why.
so-
And if we didn't do that, we'll have no national companies trying to come to East Fishkill.
I don't think that's true. I think we have a great town. I think we have a great workforce. I think we have a great community. I think we have a great resource in, the IBM properties, so close to 84. I think a lot of companies want to come here.
But their conditions to come is when they're doing their due diligence, is they have to go through the other processes, because most of them, the big companies that we want to come, are on the stock exchange and regulated by other agencies.
But you want to just keep it secret.
No, they would like to keep it secret. That's why they
Well, okay,
asked
so
us to
thank
sign
you.
the non-disclosure.
Thank you. So you're admitting there's limited transparency in some of these
No,
proceedings?
not at all.
No,
There's
not
nothing given to the public until today.
There hasn't been one
Hasn't
action
been no
taken by the
meeting.
town of East Fishkill until this evening.
Okay. So I did notice you sent out a press release today, which did say it was Frito-Lay. Couldn't that have gone out a few days ago so people could get it and find out a little bit ahead of time what was going on?
Well, sir, I don't know if you understand. Tonight is step one, receiving and filing the application. It's then referred. There will be a joint public hearing
Right.
of the town board and the planning board on September 23rd. You're free to come that evening also
Thank
and
you.
make comments about the specific items. There will then be another series of open public hearings leading up to maybe approval, maybe denial of the application. So there is a public process. It will be fully vetted. Anything that's filed with the town, you're free to look at and to have a copy of.
So my fear is at the next meeting, since you're having a joint meeting, that you're going to just have a joint meeting and then you're going to vote and somebody's going to say,
No, it's
let's
a-
vote today, and you're just going to push
No,
this
sir,
thing
there's a
through.
process. So there are many
I've seen how it works.
Oh, well, let me explain to you the process. The process tonight is the town board has to circulate to the New York State DOT, the Department of Health, many other state agencies, notice that this application's been filed with the town. That is circulated to them, and the town board is asking them, do you have an objection if we are the lead agency for the secret review of the project? And those agencies have the right to object or not. We have to wait 30 days for that process to happen. So by the 23rd of September, we probably wouldn't be in a position to formally declare lead agency. There are also notice requirements for the public hearing, 25 days. The planning board will adjourn their public hearing for further review of the site plan. So it's not slam dunk, over and done. There is a full process that will be fully vetted.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So, I mean, projects like this are great if they provide a benefit to the community. What I heard today was kind of disappointing. 24, 26 jobs, like maybe 80 jobs?
No, 80 jobs, they said.
Right, okay, 80 jobs. So we're gonna
It's
get...
better than the 0 that the parking lot is
So
giving
they're gonna
out.
build a building taller than Amazon right next to Route 52 that's already in violation of the setback to the road. You think that's a good idea?
That will have to be a decision of the zoning board, not this board.
Right, but you're gonna do what you do, which is change the rules to let these companies
No,
come
no,
in and do whatever
that's
they wanna
allowed
do.
in the process for anybody, including yourself. If you are too close to a lot line and you're building your home, you can go to the zoning board and ask them for relief of that. If you don't think that's a good process, then you're gonna have to bark your tree up to New York State. I don't know what to tell
What I
you.
don't really understand is every time somebody comes before this board, they have something that's a non-conforming issue, and you guys always bend over
That
and let them
happens
have
sometimes
whatever-
because zoning was put in place in 1960, in the early 60s.
Right.
So there's been a lot of changes. I'm sure you would agree to that to our
Sure,
town.
yeah. Not
So
all for the
try to accommodate businesses who are going to be good job providers and help our community, we try to accommodate them into the law as we see fit.
But do you look at any of the negatives? Do you ever look at any of the negative
Because
impacts?
that's what the
You
secret
won't be
sauce-
able to see the mountain, if you drive down Route 52, you won't be able to see anything green. You'll
There's
see
a
a
whole,
giant
there's a whole
building.
part of the process on the scenic impacts.
Right.
So you can comment on that, you can raise those issues.
So to that question, I mean, the gentleman who spoke, wherever he is, he said several times that his presentation was very lacking in imagery. So are we gonna ever see any imagery?
This evening,
This is the first step.
this is the introduction of the
But
project.
why are we having this presentation if he doesn't have anything we can see?
They asked if they can give a presentation while we consider approving this first resolution. That is
Okay,
that is
thank you.
basically it.
All right.
At the end of the day, we have a industrial site, sir, on Route 52 that has been there since the 50s. As you know, IBM ran and built that facility for many years. It has been turning into a brownfield, certain areas of it, and this town board has exhausted ourselves to try to bring companies in here to regenerate those sites. I don't think anybody would disagree with this town board. It's better to see it being reutilized than becoming a brownfield and have no use to the public.
I didn't say that should be the
I'm
case.
just making my comment
I'm
as
just
you
saying,
are.
do we need an automated factory that's taller than IBM right next to the road? Is that what we really need?
We don't get to pick who's going
You
to
do
come
get to
here.
pick, though. You do.
Okay,
You guys
so-
all get to pick.
So you get to, if you were on this board, then you could say to certain company, come here and build, and they will do it?
I
God
didn't
bless
say that.
you, I'd
No,
love to
no.
see it.
I mean, that's
Firstly,
ridiculous,
you
Nick.
can deny them, and then they're gonna sue you, because they have no reason to deny
Well,
them.
if you didn't do anything wrong,
As long as they meet all the legal requirements, there's no reason for this board or any other board to deny them. But they have to meet all the requirements of New York State.
So the law you passed in 2014 that basically gives you the ability to approve any project over there that you want for any reason that you want.
No,
to
we
approve
had a
it.
different, we had a bunch of change of uses, because that site originally had one use, only to manufacture microchips, plain and simple. That's all they could do there. So this board said, how are we gonna generate that when IBM left thousands of jobs, contaminated our property, and left town? This board and other boards before this stepped forward and did the hard job, changed the zoning, changed the uses to allow companies like this to come here. Without that, it would have a more negative impact on our community.
So you're saying nobody else except Frito-Lay wants to come to our town?
So far, nobody else came forward, sir. And the other point that I want to make, as far as Route 52, that's a state road. So I drive that route every day. I see an empty parking lot. So for somebody like myself, looking at an empty parking lot and looking at a brand-new building, I don't know what would be so deterrent about that.
It's going to be 85 feet tall.
What is the point of being 85 feet tall?
You won't be able to see anything else that'll block the sun.
What are you gonna block?
What are you going to see on the other side?
The manufacturing facility
Can't hear you
behind
all
it?
if you're jabbering there.
You going to see the manufacturing side on the other side of it?
It's an industrial site for over 60 years.
Right, right. It's not 85 feet tall, I can tell you that.
I understand that, but
What's that?
What are you gonna be missing? What are you trying to see?
I could see a lot. I could see the mountain across the way, Hosner Mountain. I could see all kinds of stuff.
you could see
You
that
will be
100
able to
feet down
see
the
over
road as well.
85 feet.
So Amazon, I don't know how tall Amazon is exactly. I think she said it was 80 feet tall or whatever the legal limit is. So I would suggest that it's a good idea to keep it to the legal limit.
Well, only, like they said, only a small percentage of the building will be over.
25% isn't that small.
It's, Amazon's 660,000 square feet.
Right.
This is 150,000 square
Right,
feet.
so 25% of that's going to
Okay.
be 85 feet tall.
So 25%
big.
of the other project, 25% of 25%.
I've just seen how this works here, and it's just like slam bam, and the whole thing's over
Well,
with.
I see how it works for you. You try to make accusations, and I'm
Well,
sorry that you don't appreciate what we're trying to do and trying to generate economic development for the town, but that's okay. I appreciate your comments.
This is your opportunity to do the right thing for the town.
That's correct,
you're-
and this is the correct thing for the town.
To just let them build whatever they want to
No,
build.
they have to meet all the rules and requirements of New York State.
Nick, 1 second. Sir, do you realize, do you have any idea what the school budget is for Wappingers Falls?
It's a lot.
How much?
I don't know how much it is.
Well, you seem to be knowing numbers. Can I tell you it's about $255 million a year?
They're going to produce generous taxes for our school district, and not one kid will go to school from
So
that
I,
facility.
for myself, live in this town.
The cost for everyone else.
I, for myself, live in this town, and I want to make sure that my seniors in this community could still live in this community. Because if we don't create this kind of projects, guess who's going to be sharing the $255 million? Those seniors
So
that are moving out of this community because they can't afford to live here no more.
So are there any tax incentives, anything they've
Yes, there are.
requested?
Yeah, they have come,
So you
they,
guys talk out of both sides of your mouth at the same time. You're going to give them a huge tax break.
Excuse me, this is the first step of a
Right.
long process.
you
They
know,
have
it's
made
ridiculous.
application with the Dutchess County IDA for a tax pilot. That has not been discussed yet, that still has to be vetted by the town, the school district, the county.
And you already told me you're going to vote yes on everything.
No.
Excuse me, sir.
You basically all just said this is the greatest thing that ever happened to East Fishkill.
Okay, if you
Why don't you come
want
back
to,
at the planning board meeting? That's the come back at the planning board meeting. That's the best time.
I have a couple more questions, if you don't mind. Let's see. So they say there's not going to be any kind of environmental impact. There's going to be lights on all night long,
Just like now.
and it's 85
No
feet
difference.
tall.
No different
That
from what's
has
there
no
now.
environmental impact at all on anybody.
they'll have to go through a very thorough secret review that New York State requires.
They fill out a form and you all sign it.
New York
That's what
State,
happens.
it's a New York State law.
Not us.
No,
You-
sir,
They
wait
fill
a
out a
second.
form and you approve it.
No, you
That's all
don't,
that happens here.
you're belittling the process.
But the
They have
process is in
submitted,
your hands.
and I'm
Right.
trying to explain it to
Right.
you, you think you know it. So I
Well,
like to
I've
explain it to
seen what
you.
happens here.
I don't know where you've
Try to
seen
look
it.
the process
I don't
up.
know where you've seen it. This is their submission of studies and data from various experts that they've retained to address lighting, storm, all the issues that were presented. The town has consultants and staff who now review this and will question it, and there'll be a back and forth if changes have to be made, if there's things that are challenged. That's what the process is that's just beginning tonight.
So the Amazon warehouse was approved with no environmental impact whatsoever. That was
there
the
were many-
decision.
There were impacts that had to be
Mitigated. They're doing
You
huge
gave them a non-declaration decree or whatever it's called. You just said.
negative declaration ultimately.
Mitigated.
But that was after an
after they proved their mitigation for the impacts that they
I
would
mean,
cause.
I saw the meetings. I know they were mostly on Zoom, and I watched them, and I didn't see much of a vetting process. All I saw was they said that
Well,
there's not
then
going
you,
to be an
then you
environmental
obviously
impact, and
don't
then you guys just
understand the
voted yes.
processes. I'm not here to, obviously you don't understand the processes
No, I
there.
don't think
I'm not
that's
here
it.
to entertain your political aspirations while you're here doing this tonight.
here because
But
I care.
I don't think so. okay, number one. I know you're seeking political office, and you're using this pulpit
Like
for
you?
your own political benefit.
Like you?
No, I'm elected,
No?
sir. That's right, and
Right,
I'm
so
here.
we're doing the same thing, Nick.
No, we're not.
I think we are.
Because you're belittling the process that we work hard to make sure we go through the proper procedures, and the planning board as well, and the zoning board as well. There's many levels that they have to go through and spend millions of dollars to try to coordinate to get the correct information to get approvals. So if you or I were to do a project and we have to go through these processes and we meet all the requirements that the law states, why should you and I be denied a project?
Well, I don't have the millions of dollars that they do to
Neither
just
do
get whatever
I.
they want.
But no matter what,
That's how it works.
they still have to meet all the requirements from New York State and the town.
All they have to do is put a proposal on your desk, and the law that you've passed says you can just approve it.
That's not
That is
true.
It is true.
It's not
false.
Bring
true.
the law
That
next
is
time, I'll read it to
absolutely
you.
false.
I'll bring the law next time and I'll prove it to you.
That is false.
I'll read it to you myself.
Okay.
And you can try to explain it to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, the industrial zoning, they're authorized to do a lot more than you will be able to do in a regular zoning. So that site over there has all the qualities for this kind of projects to take place. We, through the years, have dissected the whole humongous monstrosity that was there, IBM, that has been on that site since 1960. Because right now, no company will come and take over what IBM left behind. So like the town supervisor mentioned before, instead of leaving a site that it's just an eyesore to the community, that's exactly what that is. It's an eyesore to the community. We did some zone changes to accommodate. We didn't know these companies 4 or 5 years ago. This has been going on 4 or 5 years already. This hasn't been changed last night.
No, 2014.
All the zone changes have prepared that site for a company to come in and do business in the town, in a site that is industrial. It's not the middle of Hopewell Junction.
But you
It's-
changed the law beyond that.
What
It's
did we
zoned
change?
for
What
certain-
law was
it's
Can
changed?
you
zoned for
refer
certain
spe-
things,
can you
and
give us a
just change the
specific?
law every time somebody
Can you
comes
please-
in.
Should we
give us a
just have let it
specific?
be microprocessing
No,
only?
so there's like a brewery over there, there's a bakery over there, there's a bunch of great businesses over
Because-
there. Why don't we get more of those? What's that?
If they came, we would hear them just like we would any other company.
Did they all get a pilot?
If they request one, they go to Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency for one. You just don't get a pilot like that. You have to have job requirements, have a certain amount of investment into the community that you're going to be performing. So it's not any company could just come here. They have to guarantee these jobs. And if not, then the county goes back to them and reneges on the tax break that they got. So there's performances that they have to be
There are
required
not
to do.
performances, Nick. You know what the IDA, I mean, I've seen the applications, I've read all the stuff. There's no, Amazon doesn't have to do any kind of performance. They're going to get whatever they negotiated, and they don't have to do anything. There's no performance. Can you tell me, is there any kind of performance decree in the IDA pilot
They have
for
a certain
Amazon?
amount of jobs that they have to maintain for the lifetime of the pilot. If not, then Dutchess County can make action to renege on the taxes, and they have to pay back the taxes that they got a break on. Is that correct?
Yes, it's in the 500-page agreement.
So, I mean, I didn't read the 500-page agreement.
That's the agreement.
Fair enough, but I didn't see it anywhere, I didn't see it in any of the meetings. All I know is they promised 500 part-time equivalent jobs, and when I read the IDA paperwork that I had access to, and I don't think I have access.
But the 700 full-time jobs. You left
That's
that
not what
part
they
out.
said. I wasn't at the meeting, I watched the meeting. The guy said it several
Oh, he
times.
said it multiple times.
It's
Yeah, he said it
600
multiple
full-time
times.
jobs and up to 600 part-time jobs.
He
Now,
said
if you-
500
if-
part-time,
if-
full-time equivalent
If you
jobs.
don't like Amazon, I
I'm
get
just
it.
telling
It
you.
doesn't matter for me. But if it's Amazon or it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi, we don't get to decide that,
No,
sir.
but there's no performance incentives for Amazon. That's ridiculous. I read the IDA. I read what it says.
Well, what you should do is you should make sure that you contact the IDA to give them your
I'm going
your
to. That's why
feedback
I'm standing up here tonight.
on these requirements for their tax incentives. Because you know where we live. We live in New York State. It's not a very advantageous area to do business in, correct? So when Amazon came here, just to give you a little background, when Amazon came here, they were looking at 4 different sites. One in Pennsylvania, one here in New York, our site, one in Connecticut and one in New Jersey, all within a certain perimeter around mile marker around, okay? And what were the tax per square foot? One was ours was like $4 a square foot. The other was $2. The other was $1.95. The other was 99 cents. Why would they build here unless they could get a tax break to do so? They're going to spend $180 million on building it, construction jobs, full-time and part-time jobs. Otherwise, it's going to be a brownfield sitting doing nothing.
You think Amazon needs a tax
You
break?
think that it's better than sitting doing nothing?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking you.
No, I don't think it's better sitting doing
So
nothing.
then tell me, what else are we supposed to do? Chain them down and say you have to pay
No, but
your
why do
people
you always
more?
have to bend the law every time they ask you to?
They go within the law. That's within the law.
So there was no environmental impact of building that thing over
Their
there?
the environmental impacts, they had to prove to mitigate it.
They didn't have to prove anything. They filed a form and you agreed to
how
it.
about you read
That's
the
all that
paper?
happened. You guys can pretend this is some big process.
I don't know if you've come in and
They
and
file
gone
a
through the
form and you
boxes.
just approve it.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm not
You're
wrong. I've
There
seen
are
the
studies,
forms.
there are consultant reports.
They just
There's
fill
a-
out the forms. The lawyer fills out the forms and he sends it in and you sign it. That's what happens.
At the end of the day, sir, this town board is trying to
I
bring
appreciate what you're trying to do.
bringing more
I
business
just think you
here.
gotta try a little harder to
we-
like, think about the town before you think about these giant
think about the
corporations.
town.
And
And
this is
find
not a
another resident that is
every
not
day.
happy with this.
Mr. Supervisor, it's
Every
not a
resident
public
that I
hearing.
speak to is very happy with the progress that we're making here.
So you're gonna block out the sun with the 85-foot tall building over there.
Oh, yeah, so
and
you're
everybody's
telling me
gonna
we're
be-
gonna
all
block the
those-
sun? What about the mountain that was behind it?
But
That's
sir,
where I live on
but
the
sir,
mountain.
all
If you
your,
don't
sir, all your questions will be answered at the public hearing. So if you have any other questions, please come to the public hearing. I invite you, so you
Thank
can
you.
ask the professionals at that time. They will give you your clear answers.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. I'm sorry if I got a little excited,
That's
but
okay. That happens.
I do care, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here because of really anything else other than somebody needs to get up and ask some questions, because like I said, it doesn't seem like it's a very transparent process. I've seen the way the laws have been changed over and over again. Every time you want to do something else, you just carte blanche, change all the laws, and that's
Secret is
not
a
really the
state
right
law
way.
that hasn't changed
we're
in,
not
Right, but you don't,
20 years.
yeah, but you just sign the paperwork. You don't do anything.
I appreciate your opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
That's great.
I wish it were as easy as signing a form.
So do
On
I.
the applicant's side. But no, Town Attorney Wood is correct, that stack of documents that he held up, that's not only the form, but also the 440 pages worth of professional studies that we've submitted just as of today, and we anticipate that, there obviously will be supplemental information that we'll have to submit to go through the seeker process, to go through your special permit process, to go through the planning board site plan and subdivision process. There's a lot of processes in place here. We know that we have to meet all the requirements of the code. I just want to mention one thing that regarding the fulfillment center as a use, it is a permitted use in this district pursuant to a special permit, which means as long as we meet, there are certain standards within the code that we do have to meet in order to obtain that special permit from the board. In our submission, we did outline each of those requirements in the code and presented our position as to how we meet those requirements. Those are documents that are on file with the town, foilable, publicly accessible, and I would invite any member of the public to access those documents.
Can I bother you for one more question?
Absolutely, sir.
I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but to produce a document like this, roughly what would be the cost?
Oh, gosh. Brian?
You don't want to answer that.
Yes.
No.
Not printed.
Just the copy pages is a lot.
Wants to know the
I mean,
engineering
for the-
and
oh,
the
gosh.
work.
Thousands and thousands of dollars,
Oh,
correct?
tens of thousands of dollars to produce
And
the studies.
and
as
to
of
build
now,
a
yes.
facility that your company wants to put together,
They're
what would the
potentially
approximate
going to
cost?
invest $100 million.
It's a $100
into the
million
town.
investment into the town of East Fishkill. And the point was well taken, Supervisor D'Alessandro, regarding the school taxes. 100% of those taxes generated will go to the school district with not a single student utilizing those tax dollars. So that's a win-win for the school district and the children of.
And a lot of the
Fishkill.
documentation is because of state requirements.
Yes, so as Town Attorney Wood mentioned, seeker has been in place for a very long time, gosh, since the 80s, I
And
believe
I
it
just
is.
also
Yeah.
want to make a comment
And-
that I'm not a great advocate of all that this document is representing, but just the community knows this is state requirements that,
It's a state requirement, absolutely. We need to
And
demonstrate.
secret cannot be modified by the town.
Yeah.
That's a state law, we have to adhere to it.
And there are certain procedures that requires public participation. We need to demonstrate that we will not have any significant adverse environmental impacts or that we've mitigated those impacts. And this board does an excellent job in making sure that applicants are held to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that,
She spoke a bit more. Can I ask another question?
No. Public hearing.
at the public hearing, if you, any questions?
It'll be very brief.
Sure, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. I mean, you illustrated some of the points that I was making before, was if you have enough money, you can get whatever you want. So they spend whatever amount of money it is on getting all the documentation, and you're gonna go thumbs up. It doesn't really matter what it says in there, because you're never gonna
I
read
think
it.
you're twisting words, sir, and I take offense to it.
Okay, that's fine. The other thing is, she talked about this $150 million investment, which is great.
$100 million.
$100 million investment,
I-
that's great. So I'm sure they're doing it not out of the goodness of their heart, but to make a profit.
Yes, they're a business, that's what they're
I
supposed to do.
understand.
At the
Yeah.
bottom line,
Yes,
they
I
make money.
understand.
That's
Right,
what they're there
right.
for.
So
It's
all
a
I
very
want to say to
social
you folks
justice
is the $100
forum.
million is not a gift, right? They're going to make a lot of money out, with
They're
working in our
investing a lot of
town.
money, too.
Fair enough. All I'm saying is this is not like a gift to us. This is an investment they're going to make. They're going to try to maximize their profits.
And?
So they're a business, they should maximize
Fair
their
enough,
profits.
but you
I
guys
hope they
make
do.
it sound like this is a great gift
But
to
what's your
humanity.
point?
It's a
But
gift.
what's your
We're gonna have
point?
80
My
incentives
point-
here.
Okay, go ahead, all yell at the same time.
Incentives, An investment on a brown site. So you know what? It's great. It is a gift to the town, and we thank them.
sir, if you go Google the name
And you're going to read
Frito-Lay,
that?
sir,
I read every single one of them. I go through every single packet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Frito-Lay must have been an individual just like you and I at one time.
So, Councilman Cassidy, you present the resolution.
I move we receive and refer the application of Rolling Frito-Lay's Sales LP for the reuse special permit and site plan approval for 10-350 North Drive, I Park, to the planning board.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Well, we had a lot of discussion, and like we said, this is the very, very first preliminary step of a long process, and the town board will have a joint public hearing with the planning board on September 23rd at 6 PM. So please, we will advertise that on all our social media pages and the website, so don't worry about that. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to go back, I'm sorry to do this, to
Take 2 minutes.
some of the members here that were waiting so patiently, thank you. I have one addition to the agenda, which is appointing a part-time police assistant. Councilman Franco?
I move we authorize the hiring of a part-time dispatcher, Isabella Nocerino, to fill a vacancy.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So, earlier, we did hire a full-time police assistant who was our part-time police assistant. Now we have a vacancy for the part-time police assistant, and we have a candidate here who is ready, willing, and able.
Yes.
Any discussion?
She's going to be a great asset. Right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Congratulations. Very safe. Congratulations. Chief, did you want to?
We're gonna take a group photo outside.
Excellent,
so I can
very
step out of the
good.
meeting for a moment.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Thank
I
you.
didn't know you were coming all night, you just said you were coming for a few minutes. I lied. Take care, see you tomorrow. I will.
Good night. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. For the oddball tonight, we had back and forth with our process. Usually we do resolutions after a public hearing, but we had a lot of police personnel here and members of the public to greet them, so. I know. So we will now go to the public hearing. We do have a public hearing tonight. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing considering road frontage assessments for properties on Phillips Road?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing now open. So, Phillips Road, we're trying to do some traffic improvements there. It's been a long time coming. Everybody knows there's a large development there, Four Corners. Tom, would you give us an overview on the process here of
Sure.
the road frontage assessment? Thank you.
Sure, let me just, so when Four Corners was first proposed by WCI, and the traffic study at that time showed two major issues with respect to Phillips Road. Number one was its intersection at 216, because anyone who drives that road knows that Phillips Road connects with 216 at a sharp curve, and the site distance is very limited. And WCI was told to go and try to work out some property acquisitions. They did not, but they posted with the town. They gave the town $200,000 towards future remediation. The other problem with the road was the other end at its entrance with Beekman Road, and that was found to be deficient. So WCI was forced to create what is now known as no way out to a traffic light at Beekman Road in a safer location. For various issues, the Phillips Road part by Beekman Road was not closed then. Now, when the county is coming along doing improvements to Beekman Road, they've determined that that intersection is a very dangerous intersection, the existing Phillips Road and Beekman Road. They have, as we know, they were going to close it. It would have caused inconvenience to some of the residents, so we were able to get the county to build a cul-de-sac there so that those 4 or 5 existing homes can exit out onto Beekman Road. In doing so, we've abandoned the balance of Phillips Road so that now all the traffic on Phillips Road veers onto Noaway and out at a traffic signal. In doing this, the adjoining property owner has agreed if we did some work there, which the county has done in doing the cul-de-sac, taking out some of the old pavement, et cetera, that they will pay over a period of time a contribution to enable us to do the other end of Phillips Road. So we've undertaken a project at 216 and Phillips Road where the supervisor and town board has worked with the adjoining property owner to obtain a right-of-way that will go through the existing property and will move the intersection of Phillips Road and 216 away from the curve and make it a much safer intersection. This is going to cost approximately $450,000. We had the $200,000 from WCI, and we have the other property owners willing to contribute towards that. So this method of frontage assessment is the legal way of doing that, applying the money that WCI gave us and allowing the other property owner to contribute their contribution over a period of 15 years. That's the long, short story.
That's the long version with, it is a troubled curve there on 216 where Phillips Road meets 216, as everybody knows that area. Very dangerous. There's been many accidents, and everybody will be much happier once we move the entrance. What is that, south? South, yeah. So
And Mr.
it's-
Supervisor, if I might just add, there is no development proposal in the area. It's a farm. It's divided by the central Hudson wires going through there, so there's nothing that we're doing tonight changes any development potential of any properties in that area, so.
Right, okay. Anybody in the public wish to speak for or against the consideration of this road frontage assessment? Any board members have any questions or comments? We've been through this now for some time now, yeah. It's It's about time we're gonna do some improvements there with that. with
Major
that-
improvement,
with that
for sure.
entrance. The highway superintendent knows it's difficult.
Absolutely.
Getting the plow trucks out of there,
Absolutely.
turning.
Numerous times we've had issues there where people are stuck in that corner, we can't get up through there, and, you know,
Right.
it's gonna be a major improvement for that area.
In addition, DOT fully endorses this change.
DOT fully endorses this change, yes. Well, who wouldn't? It's gonna make it a lot safer, so.
When's the construction plan? This
Next
fall,
year.
next year?
Next year.
You don't wanna wait until you get all the money in 15 years and then do it?
Yeah, that's it.
Mark would like that idea.
That's,
Mark doesn't want.
that's actually the DOT's usual plan of doing things.
The price will go up by 10 times.
Exactly. All right, any other comments? No? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing now closed. Do I have a motion to adopt the neg deck?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Deck is adopted, and do I have a motion to adopt the public interest order and the resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay. Minutes, we have, everybody received the July 22nd, 2021 minutes. Madam Clerk, was there any changes, alterations, additions, subtractions?
No, but can I also ask that we accept the August 18th minutes, which I gave to the town board today?
Yep. Town board received the August,
Small meeting that we had.
Special meeting.
August, what was it, 8th?
18th.
Yeah, 18th. I'm sorry, August 18th, 2021. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the July 22nd and August 18th, 2021 minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's now approved, thank you. We had the addition to the agenda for the part-time police assistant, courtesy of the floor. Anybody, for the remainder of the resolutions, anybody wish to speak on any of the resolutions, the rest of the resolutions, I'm sorry, for this evening? Anybody wish to speak on any other general town issues? Yes, sir.
Hello and good evening. My name is Zach Rietter. I'm a teacher at John Jay High School. The reason I'm here tonight is because I just wanted to make sure you guys are all aware of New York State's new Civics Readiness initiative.
Yes.
They are putting forth a new requirement, or a new award that students can receive for actively participating in their community. This year we are in the pilot program for that exact same Civics Readiness initiative. We are very, very excited to be doing this. And I wanted to just make sure you guys are all aware that as we are moving forward in building this program, we would like to have your involvement in that project. My colleague, Maria Mahoney, she is very, very excited, as well am I, to do this, and we're going to be beginning with the survey on Community Day to have our students really engage with the Civic Service Initiative to make them successful going forward. This is going to be our beginning year. It's going to build up as time goes on, and our ideal goal is they'll be actually going to do more meaningful things for their town, actually being a stakeholder and making meaningful change within their town. As a side note, this was a very informative meeting for Civics Readiness Initiative, I think, and I just want to make sure we understand that as we're going forward with this, a project like this should be funded, or the revenue made should be going to our school. We are bringing in, this is completely personal, I must say. If we're going to be bringing in 21st century companies that are going to be expanding and building, they should be investing every penny they have into the school district. Not simply, alleviating tax burden, but increasing our tax burden. John Jay, Ketchum should be 21st century high schools, and I hope that you guys know going forward we're going to be investing in them. Because if we are going to have another Frito-Lay, make sure they're from John Jay and they come back here after they made their billion, right? So just want to put that out there, and I'm looking forward to working with you all. And that was my comment for tonight. Thank you guys so much for hearing from me.
Thank you, Mr. Honor.
You can find-
I had my meeting with Ms. Mahoney this week, and
Excellent.
I'll be sending her some ideas for the surveys.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah.
Anybody else wish to speak on any general town issues or any agenda items?
I just have a question. There's something on the agenda.
Please come to this podium.
I just wanted to look at it very briefly. I don't really understand the way it's written. It just says something about you're gonna vote on something about Lime Kiln Road and approve something about debris, and it doesn't really say what it is. And you're gonna authorize something, but it doesn't say what it is.
Okay, number 12. So, yeah, so we have our brush drop-off. That's the location of our brush drop-off. And town, when we had the microburst years ago, we utilized the brush drop-off for the benefit of the community, just to drop, we had pretty much that whole mountainside, there was a lot of trees. So the deal was we could utilize the lot and we get rid of the brush then. Now, it's come time we have to get rid of the brush. We were gonna try to do it piecemeal, little by little, but there is a company buying that property. They're gonna be, probably you've seen, Morrow Crane. Morrow Crane, they're gonna be, yeah, trying to build it, so we have to act now. So we did a RFP to get rid of all the brush there. It came in a lot higher than we thought, a lot more than we wanted to spend, so we negotiated a change order with them, so we could do some of the work to lower the cost, and that's what the resolution's for tonight. Yes, sir. Okay, with that, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. Let's start with number 5, Councilman Bepan.
I move we update such policies as vehicle use, no smoking, and overtime policy for inclusion in the employee handbook.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to update the employee handbook?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So time to time, we try to update the employee handbook. These are 3 uses that we're trying to accomplish. Our overtime policy, set our overtime policy, a no smoking policy for town employees, and our vehicle policy we need to update as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions from the board? Okay, with that, do I have a motion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Number 6, Councilman Marinaro.
I move that we acknowledge the hiring of Rosicler Gonzalez as a part-time cleaner for highway.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to appoint a part-time cleaner?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Discussion. So we had one of our cleaners, Alice Christ. She, I don't know if she retired or she got another job. I'm not sure, but Alice was with us for several years, and we need to replace the position. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carry, thank you. Number 7, Councilman Marinaro.
I move that we acknowledge the hiring of Sierra Simeon as a seasonal laborer.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to hire Sierra Simone for a highway laborer?
So moved.
Seasonal highway laborer.
Yes.
Do I have a second? Second. Discussion? It's been hard to find them.
You're not kidding.
Like I made a comment in my comments, it's hard to find people.
It is, and you know what? She did watch some of our meetings, saw that we were looking for help. She's a single mom. She's been working with us part-time now for a little while. She's working out great.
That's great.
It's working out great.
That's good to know. So anybody out there, please, we're looking for part-time seasonal, part-time help. Please come. We look for part-time typists all the time. Please apply. Sometimes I hear on social media we're hiring a lot of people. Yeah, we need them. We have people leaving. We have people retiring. We have people finding other jobs. We need people. We need to hire. So please come to town.
Agreed.
Exactly. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 8, Councilman Cassidy.
I move that we authorize the hiring of Michelle Mcintyre as a seasonal tax record clerk.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to hire the seasonal tax clerk?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. This is one we do every year. We hire a seasonal part-timer. I'm sorry, it's a seasonal full-timer. They can only work 6 months a year by civil service requirements. and we break up that 6 months into the 2 tax collection periods, so pretty self-explanatory. And that is a reappointment. She's been with us for several years. Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Number 9, Councilman Beepan.
I move we authorize the hiring of Veronica Haynes as a temporary typist.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to hire the temporary typist?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Discussion? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a part-time typist that comes, especially with COVID, and it was difficult for people to take vacation. So a lot of employees did not take vacation, and now we get into the situation where everybody wants to take vacation. We don't have enough people to cover the spot, so that's why we like to hire these part-timers.
Absolutely.
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Number 10, Councilman Cassidy.
I move that we authorize an agreement with the law firm Stewart, Ward, Wald, and McCully with respect to the Lomela Park District.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to authorize the hiring of the law firm Stewart, Wald, and McCully?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Town Attorney, would you give us a little
Sure.
briefing on this?
This is at no cost to the town, but as we know, the railroad is abandoning much of the right-of-way within the town, and under a law from the 1800s, adjoining property owners may be entitled to compensation once it's converted to non-railroad use. So we have a good part of the Lomela Park District with a rail track through it. So this firm is not based in New York, it's out of state, but they have found this niche in doing this. So what they'll do is file a claim. If they're successful, they get 25% of the recovery, and the town receives the rest on behalf of the Lomela Park District.
Thank you, Town Attorney.
So, Tom, do I have to vote on this because my house is part of this, I actually signed with this law firm.
Oh, you did? Well, then you might be best off to recuse it, to abstain from this.
You have enough votes then?
Yes.
I didn't sign yet. But go through my property too.
So I will abstain for that reason.
Okay.
You want to abstain?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be
No
safe.
problem.
You get 3?
Yeah, we got us straight.
If not, I won't abstain because I didn't sign
Let's do
yet.
the math here.
Either way, this is for free. The town doesn't have to pay, so.
Well, and there is a provision in law that if no member of the board can vote because of a conflict, they can vote. It's an
Okay.
unusual thing, but yes.
All right.
Good to know.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Yeah,
2
two.
abstentions. Thank you.
Okay.
Number 11, Councilman Marinaro.
I move we authorize the appointing Jessica Savage as a temporary legislative aide in the building department to fill in for a leave of absence.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to appoint temporary legislative aide to the town board for the building department?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So, Jessica has been working with us for a while now in the building department. We are in need of help. We had one full-timer, one part-timer. We had one full-timer and one part-timer leave the building department. One retired, one left for family reasons. So we're looking for people. Please call the town hall. If you're looking for work, we can help you out. So just because she's been wonderful, though. She's been working with Mary, I'm sorry, with Paula, and she's been doing an excellent job, so. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, number 12, Councilman Franco.
I move we award the non-manufacturing wood debris grinding and hauling bid to Supreme Forest Products at a total amount of $150,000.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to award the wood debris grinding?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Like I mentioned earlier for our comment, we did an RFP for this, a bid. A bid. and it came in for $225,000, which was a lot more than we wanted to spend. So we asked, and there was only one bidder, so we asked the bidder if he would do a change order, which he agreed to, the town, to lower the price to $150,000, so,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
I don't want to be rude, I just, whoever wants to buy the property, why can't they pay for all this stuff? Why do we have to pay for it?
Because we leased the property to have town residents put the material there. And the
Okay.
understanding was with the owner that we would leave the property the way we found it, clean and.
I asked if we could leave the material after we grinded it.
Right.
And DEC said we couldn't, so that was another hassle. So it was a lot of back and forth, and we were trying to leave as much as we could, but we can't.
If you remember that storm, we
No, I
had,
remember.
we had
Yeah,
a
that whole road was
tremendous amount of
destroyed.
wood.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount, not just
No, I
brush, we're
get it. I
talking
just-
So we're
logs,
saving about
stumps.
75, a little over 75,000. Our highway department will haul out some of the material.
I mean, if we're responsible, but at the same time, when I see these companies come in, they want to build a large building over there, they obviously have resources. It would be nice of them to take care of it. I mean, has anybody requested that?
It's not our property.
It's not our property.
It's not the town's property.
The property owner selling it,
Right.
we lease it from the property owner. It's not the new company coming in that said, the property owner, for them to sell the property, has to have it cleared.
All right, I understand, thank you.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Okay, number 13, Councilman, I'm
We're
sorry.
tabling that, right?
Table at 13.
Okay, well, let me say it. We're gonna take this one off. We'll vote this another time, number 13.
We got you.
Okay, thank you. Number
14 also.
14.
And
14
the table
also.
also.
Oh, look at that.
I say we table the rest.
Okay, why don't we get through the rest now?
Carol,
Me too, yeah.
13 and 14, Madam Clerk, will table for another month.
How about the rest of them?
Okay, number 15, Councilman Beepan?
I move we authorize the town board to retain Hudson Valley Engineering Services with respect to assistance in preparing applications for funding under New York State DOT TAP CMAQ program.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to apply for the CMAQ grant?
So,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? So we've applied for this in the past. It's a large project in the hamlet for roundabouts and other traffic improvements. The town does have a 20% match. If we get this, this would severely help the traffic problem in the hamlet. And last time we were very close to receiving it. We did get edged out by the town of Wappinger, which is getting a very large roundabout at the new Hackensack location by the airport. But they told us, please reapply. They liked our project. DOT really likes our project, but doesn't have the money to fix the road. So New York State does have this revolving yearly CMAQ grant, and it's it would be a huge benefit. So
And we also, I believe, score more points by having our consultant on board.
yes. So we wanted to have the consultant, Hudson Valley Engineering, do our preparations for the application, and this is one of the requirements to have the resolution. So. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, number 16. We're not getting rid of that, are we? Councilman Marinaro.
I move we authorize retaining CPL Engineering for water and sewer projects pursuant to grants.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to retain CPL for the water and sewer grant?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, just like the grant before this is one of the requirements. We need to pass a resolution. It's very helpful to have a consulting engineer review the project and do any of the engineer construction observations. So CPL, we're very comfortable with.
This really dovetails with 19.
That 19, and when we get to that, the attorney will give us an explanation on why we need to do 19. which is very important for Worley Homes. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 17, Councilman Marinaro.
I move we accept easement on 99 Lake Walton Road per the highway superintendent recommendation.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to accept the easement?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Highway Superintendent, you want to give us a little
So,
background?
so about 5 years ago, when we did repave Lake Walton, one homeowner was getting a little bit of, runoff there that Councilman Marinaro and I had gone out and looked at, and in order to alleviate his problem, we have to go a little farther into his property than our right-of-way will allow us. So that's why we've done this, to help this resident out and alleviate his water issues. That's basically what we're doing.
Thank you, Highway Superintendent. Any other comments or questions?
That house over there, it's been having a flooding problem for years. We try to kind of remediate with some drainage, but apparently needed a lot more, and that's why I think the highway superintendent needs this easement.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 18, Councilman Bepan.
I move we authorize the town justices to attend the New York State Magistrates' Conference on September 26th to the 29th this year.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to let the justices attend the conference? So moved. Have a good night, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 19, Councilman Cassidy.
I move we authorize the approval of borrowing for water improvements for $5 million, subject to the receipt of a $3 million grant.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to approve the borrowing for $5 million for Hopewell West Water District?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Town Attorney, would you
Okay,
explain
well,
to the board? what
first
this
of all, we'll never spend the money unless we get the money. But when, the town engineer has applied to the state, and that's what some of these consulting engineers are, for additional grant money to do more water improvements with Worley Homes and the other districts in that area. We previously established the Hopewell West Water District for Worley Homes, and we have an extension project going on. So by doing all of this work, we are able to get points in the state grant system, and it looks very positive that we might be able to get a grant of up to $3 million. If,
Yeah, what we're trying to do is parlay the offsetted interest
Right.
loan that we have right now. That was part of our map plan report for Worley Homes Revere. We're trying to parlay that into a larger grant as well.
Right, so if everybody remembers when we purchased Worley Homes and we said that the scope of work that we were going to perform out there, the engineer performed the map plan and report, which detailed what we were going to do, and in that was about a $1.7 million worth of work. And with that, we got a very low interest rate loan to facilitate that. Now we've looked to expand the project because, as you know, it's an old system that wasn't going to repair or replace all the piping in the ground. So perhaps this now, the additional grant monies for this will facilitate that.
But we should stress, this doesn't change any payments that are being made by any resident, and it will not change that. But with the New York State grant system, in order for us to get to the top of the list, we have to show that we have a project that's ready to go. Part of ready to go is to have a bonding resolution adopted, because I think we've talked about it before, the bonding resolution becomes the line of credit for the project. So if we get awarded the grant, we'll sign a contract with the state of New York, and we'll start the work. We have to pay the bill as we do some work. This line of credit would allow us to pay the bill. We then submit that partial payment to the state. They reimburse us. We pay off the credit line. So it's not an additional borrowing of the town, other than it gives us the credit line that's needed for us to be able to fulfill the grant. So it's a very safe process. It sounds crazy that you're borrowing more money, but you'll never use it unless you get the grant money. And in fact, we couldn't use it because there are other processes we would have had to go through
The map
if we
plan
didn't
and
get,
report,
if we didn't get the free money.
State Controller's
The grant money,
office, right.
correct. So- But I want to make it clear that there's no change to the annual payments that the people were told they were going to pay and are paying.
Right, and as, if there's people from Worley Home watching, or the new Hopewell West Water District, this is that WIA grant that we have been discussing multiple times. Well, this is the application for that, and we have been working very diligently with the State Board of Health and our consultants and our engineers as well, so, we're very hopeful that we'll get it. We do have, we believe our score will be high enough, so, to receive the grant, so keep your fingers crossed, please. Any other comments or questions? No, it's a good, it'll be good if we get that, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Okay, budget transfers, we do not have any. Board member comments, let's start with the highway superintendent.
All right. So the big news at the Highway Department is paving. So far this year, we have paved 13 roads with the help of inter-county paving. We've done over 4.5 miles of paving so far. Russ Drive, Cedar Lane, Dale Road, Deerwood Drive, Duran Drive, Forest View Lane, Foster Road, Larchmont Drive, Nicholson Road, Tamarack Drive, and we've also teamed up with the town of Pauling and the town of Kent to complete Jensen Road, which runs through 3 towns, and also Rescue Road. So that's been keeping us busy. Also, in addition to the paving, we have done a lot of drainage work, pipe replacement work. Most recently, we've been on White Pond Road, Elk Road, Hollyberry, Pell Bridge, Orchard Place, Spyglass, and Appalachian West. We were lucky enough to escape any significant damage from the tropical storm that we had. No major tree damage, some here and there, no major power outages. This is why we continuously do our tree work of trimming back any dead trees and anything near the power lines. We also have a crew working in the Recreation Department to assist them in installing the new batting cages at the Hopewell Rec. And just a reminder, I would like to encourage our residents to call our Highway Department directly at 221-2681 if they see any issues on town roads. We maintain over 600 roads in our town, so it's almost, it's hard to get to every single road all the time. So if our residents see anything, please call us, 221-2681. On another hand, I have to give a big thank you to Officer Stephen Costello. During the storm, him and I were called out around 3 in the morning on a Sunday morning to cut a tree that was across Woltz Road, and the tree was covered, the entire tree was covered in poison ivy, and the two of us both got poison ivy pretty good.
So he just stood there and watched you?
No, I cut and he dragged every branch, so I take my hat off to him. He was a big help in the pouring rain.
Wow.
Did he
So-
cry as much as you did?
Not, I don't know, Chief, did he?
His arms are raw. Both arms are raw.
So there wasn't a piece of that tree that didn't have poison ivy on it, so my hat's off to Stephen Costello, Officer Costello. And of course,
Because of the highway superintendent.
that's my luck, I get the worst tree, you know?
Witness to the accident.
Yeah, our luck, now he's out, the poor kid.
So that's pretty much everything. We work closely when we have these big storms that come with the police department, our fire department, we all get together, and if it turns into something bigger than what we're hoping for, we're ready to go and get it done. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Highway Superintendent.
You're welcome.
I know you've been very busy, thank you.
Thank you.
Police Chief, official Police Chief.
Thank you for tonight, very much so. I appreciate your
Thank you,
constant
Chief, for all
support.
your hard work.
From day one, you guys have had my back, and I've always been able to go to Carol, Tom, Scott, Mark, and my buddy in the trenches, Kenny here. Thank you all very much, I appreciate it. Thanks, Steve. You're a good man, too. Few things, a good friend of mine retired, Jerry Quinn. He served this town 20 years with the police department. And prior to that, believe it was 10, 12 years with the fire department. He's a good man. We will miss him very much. God bless you, Jerry. Thank you to my staff and my guys. Since our last meeting, my guys have saved the lives of 4 individuals in various different situations. I just want you to know that. Our next meeting, I will give you more of our routine stuff, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Councilman Beepan, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Just wish everyone is having a good summer. Unfortunately, it's coming to a close. I want to welcome our new recreation director. I know we voted on him last month, but he's officially here. He's taken over. Mr. Matt Salmon, as I'm sure you all remember, he's an East Fishkill resident, so we're looking forward to doing great things with him. That said, I also want to thank Bill and Christine for stepping up during the absence of our full-time director. Quick note that the Red Wing Park will close on September 6th, so thank you to all of our staff there that has kept it running this summer. Also, I'm sure Mr. Cassidy is going to talk about Community Day, but we have a bunch of fun things going on that day, everything from trying all the new sports in the town to scavenger hunts and parades. So, we also have Illusionist Ryan Dutcher there as well. So I'll let the deputy supervisor talk about that a little bit more. But I hope everyone enjoys their Labor Day weekend, and we'll start fresh in September.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Franco.
Chief, congratulations again.
Thank you,
Looking
boss.
forward to the new hires. They're all young, so it'll be nice to watch them grow in East
I was
Fishkill.
just looking at the pictures. They are really young.
They are young, but you can mold them, so we have a lot of confidence.
Is you're young or you're old, Councilman?
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
It's a little bit of both, right?
A little bit of both. Also, thank you to our supervisor and all of our professionals for the Frito-Lay presentation tonight. I think that is tremendous news for the town. We're all very excited about it. We think it's going to be great not only for the town, but for the schools. So all you, our unsung heroes back there, thank you very much for all that you guys do.
Got a lot more to do,
Yes,
so.
I know, but still, thank
And
you.
happy birthday to Mark Posniak.
Oh, I was
Mark.
gonna say.
Happy birthday, Mark.
You read my last comment.
Could have had all these people singing happy birthday.
I can now legally drink. This is nice.
Councilman Marinaro.
So, last week, I was in touch with the county executive, Marcus Molinaro, to address an issue that has been going on in our community. And that is the sharp turn on Beekman Road and Augusta Drive. Through the last couple of months and for a while now, I've been receiving phone calls from people that live in their vicinity about a lot of the accidents that have happened at that sharp turn. So I had spoken to the county executive, and thanks to the police chief, he had given me a lot of accidents reports. We had a recent accident over there, I believe it was on a Saturday. And I forwarded the information, all those reports right now are at the county level. The county executive said he's going to seriously look into this. I know that I addressed this issue at another town board meeting with, I believe it was the DPW person that came to a town hall for the presentation.
Yes.
So I think that this will be resolved. We got to stay on top of it. And I want to thank the chief again for giving me those reports really fast, and hopefully we'll resolve that. I want to commend this town board. I mean, I've been part of this town board for quite a few years now, and I have to say to the community that I am really happy the way these gentlemen respond to the needs of the community. It's really, you see what goes on in the surrounding town, and people have a lot of complaints. But I have to say that in the last couple of years, there are very, very few complaints that we hear about our town hall, the staff, the way we conduct business, our highway, our police department. And that is also has a lot to do, the way these people respond when we get phone calls. We usually get into actions, we get things done, and we get the issue resolved. So I am very proud to be part of this town board that is representing our community. This is a very transparent town board. We usually discuss what we plan to do in public. There is no underhanding of any issues. I'm in touch with the community. People ask me questions all the time. Manny, I didn't understand what went on at that meeting, and I usually sit with them and explain, because sometimes it's not easy to see. Tonight, we had 20 resolutions, and you don't know all the facts, but we try to explain in a speedy time, the best we can, what is happening prior to that resolution being put out. Again, this is another great asset that this town supervisor and this town board and all the staffing, the way we're operating, something really to be proud for the town and the whole community. Last week, I believe, we attended a senior citizen lunch, which is usually organized by the Dutchess
I
County.
forgot to say that in my comments.
Yeah, so a few of us and the town supervisor, we attended, and there were over 400 lunches given out. There was a great attendance, and when you're giving out those lunches, you see the big smiles. People really love. Some people would like to have some cheese on their burgers next time, but that's something that we got to work on. But I was surprised to see that there was a gentleman actually cooking the burgers fresh before they were putting in the buns. As far as working with the highway, we have been doing a lot of paving, like the highway superintendent, as mentioned before. We do, from time to time, have residents that they call and they say, what about my roads? So, you know, those who have followed through the years, it's been going on for about 4 or 5 years. We've done a study of all the roads and how bad they are in need of repairs or repaving. So we are right now following that plan. We are paving the roads that they need the most attention. And we usually don't skip to another road just because somebody calls. Let's be patient. We will take care of your roads when the time comes, unless it's an emergency, a burst pipe, or a drainage issue, caving, that's a different reason. But otherwise, we can't jump, and we would love to pave all the roads in this town, but it's just impossible. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes.
Because we do have people that they call.
We've been working
And they want to jump the line. Nobody can jump the line, so.
Unless you blow up your road.
I hope they don't go that route.
Thank you, Councilman. Deputy Supervisor,
Chief,
how are you?
it was nice to see you finally get more stuff than the highway superintendent. You'd passed that test 2 years ago, you'd be way ahead of us. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, boss.
Good job, Ken. Mark, happy birthday, 42nd birthday today.
21st.
21st. Good. Community Day coming up in September. A lot of big new things coming. 25th anniversary is so big that it took us 26 years to get to the 25th Community Day.
But who's counting?
But who's counting? The extravaganza at the end of the night, our own Brian Dutcher, the illusionist, and a big fireworks show at the end of the night. Started with a parade and many, many events all day long. Any information? Call the rec department. And I don't know that number.
AJ, what's the number?
You don't know.
I know, has it in the phone. Sorry.
You could call the highway and we'll get you the information.
Call the highway and they'll give it to you.
We'll get you the information you need.
All right.
Or call Gina.
Okay, with that, our next town board meeting is our workshop, September 9, 2021. And Mark, happy birthday. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, the East Fishkill Recreation phone number is 845-226-8395.
There you go. You heard it from the liaison's mouth. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Harold, well deserved. Don't come to any more meetings.